Enchiridion by Epictetus. I declare to you that some things lie in our power while others do not, and you will live free and undisturbed only by fixing your attention strictly on what depends upon your will, your opinions, desires, and aversions. I caution you to desire only what is possible and to avoid only what is in your power. For if you wish things to happen exactly as they do happen, you will never be disappointed. I advise you to remember that everything outside your will is merely on loan and can be recalled at any moment. So treat wife, child, property, and reputation as temporary gifts. I counsel you not to trouble yourself with future events, for when they arrive, you will meet them with the same faculty of reason you possess now. I proclaim that it is not things themselves that disturb men, but their opinions about things, and therefore you must change your judgments if you wish to be tranquil. I remind you that the gods have given you the faculty to bear whatever happens, so when you suffer loss or pain, know that you have the power to endure it nobly. I teach you that when you see someone weeping or angry over externals, remember that it is not the event, but his opinion of it that torments him. I instruct you never to call yourself a philosopher or Stoic in public, but to show it by your actions rather than by your words. I command you to train yourself as an athlete trains, so that when misfortune comes, you will already be practiced in bearing it without complaint. I urge you to remember that everything has two handles, one that can be carried and one that cannot. Always seize it by the handle that allows you to bear it. I tell you that when you see a beautiful person or a fine estate, say to yourself at once, "This is only an impression," and pass on unmoved. I advise you to act always as a man would act who knows he is mortal and will one day return what belongs to the gods. I warn you that if you wish to improve, you must be willing to appear foolish and ignorant for a time, for no one becomes excellent without first seeming ridiculous. I declare that when you are invited to a banquet, remember you are not only a guest, but also a judge of what is set before you. Take only what is fitting. I instruct you to behave in life as you would at a banquet. Take what comes your way with moderation and gratitude, and when it is taken away, depart without complaint. I teach you that when you see someone weeping for his child or his fortune, remember that what has happened is not the real evil. The evil is his opinion of it. I remind you that you are an actor in a play assigned to you by the author. Play your part well, whether it is short or long, rich or poor. I command you never to be carried away by appearances of pleasure, for nothing great is achieved without toil and self-restraint. I tell you that if you wish to be free, you must learn Chide wish that everything happens as it does happen, for only then are you master of yourself. I warn you that every habit and faculty is strengthened or weakened by the corresponding actions, so train yourself daily in what you wish to become strong. I advise you to keep death and exile Chide your eyes every day, so that Chide will never desire what is base or fear what is inevitable. I declare that philosophy is not merely to talk about virtue, but to practice it. Show me your progress by how you live, not by what you say. I instruct you that when someone praises you or flatters G-Day, remember to say inwardly, "This is not about me. It is about their opinion." I teach you that the true measure of a man is not what he possesses, but what he can do without. I counsel you to examine your desires carefully, for most of what people desire is not in their power and therefore brings only disappointment. I remind you that it is better to die of hunger with a free mind than to live in luxury with a slave's mind. I warn you never to let the impression of any external thing carry you away. Pause and give yourself time to judge it rightly. I tell you that when you are angry at someone, remember that it is your own opinion that has angered you, not the person himself. I command you to live as a free man, not as a slave to fear, desire, or the opinions of others. I advise you to perform every action as though it were your last, with full attention and dignity. I instruct you that the chief duty of a human being is to understand the will of the gods and to follow it cheerfully. I declare that when you undertake any task, consider its consequences before you begin, so you will not later regret your choice. I teach you to be silent more often than you speak, for speech is silver, but silence is golden. I warn you never to laugh at another's misfortune, for the same fate may await you tomorrow. I counsel you to accustom yourself to the simplest food, clothing, and lodging, so that you may never be a slave to luxury. I remind you that when you associate with others, do not lower yourself to their level. Raise them to yours, if possible. I tell you that if anyone tells you that you are not a philosopher, do not be angry. Simply continue to live as one. I advise you to walk and speak and act as a man who knows he is under the eye of the gods. I command you never to be elated by success or cast down by failure, for both are outside your true self. I declare that the body is a vessel for the soul. Care for it only as much as is necessary, but do not make it your master. I instruct you that when you have done a good deed, do not expect praise or reward. The doing itself is the reward. I teach you to endure everything that happens as if you had chosen it yourself, for then it ceases to be a burden. I warn you that the beginning of philosophy is the confession of ignorance and the willingness to learn. I counsel you never to discuss philosophy with the uneducated, for they will only ridicule what they cannot understand. I remind you that every man is the architect of his own fortune through the use or misuse of his will. I declare that true education consists in learning to desire and to avoid only what is right. I tell you that if you wish to be great, you must first become small in your own eyes. I advise you to seek truth for its own sake, not for the sake of seeming wise. I command you to live each day as though it were your entire life, making every action worthy of a rational being. I instruct you that the wise man is content with what he has and desires nothing that is not his. I warn you never to put off the practice of virtue until tomorrow, for tomorrow is uncertain. I teach you that the final proof of a Stoic is to be able to say with truth, I have done what was mine to do. I conclude that the whole of philosophy is contained in this: to know what is in your power and what is not, and to live accordingly with courage, justice, and wisdom.